Hello, welcome back to the BrainTap Business Journal Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Patrick Porter, the founder and inventor of BrainTap. We're always looking for technology that we can partner with. You know, in the biohacking world, they call it stacking your hacks, but there's certain technologies that you just need for lifestyle and what's going on. And today, our lifestyle is filled with problems in the air. What I'm talking about is EMF. How is your body being affected? The severity that we find is about 20% of the people have severe dysfunction when they're around these EMF waves, but everyone is effective. And I'm so proud to have with us here. We did a study. We're going to talk about it with Juraj, and we're going to talk about how your technology has revolutionized, really, because you can have it there. It's beautiful. I have it sitting in my home. I bought one, I think, a couple of years ago. We put it in right where we watch television, where we're sitting most of the time, and it's there helping us. And So tell us a little bit about the technology and what we studied, how we did that. I mean, I'm going to show on the screen for some of you watching this on video. You're going to see the actual results of this study. It's going to blow your mind, because a lot of people think just because it's invisible, it's not affecting our physical reality. And you have a technology that we've proven without a shadow of a doubt that it affects moods, sleep, all the things that people are really concerned about right now, and we call it brain fitness. We need our environment to be conducive. So, Juraj, give us a little bit of background on the technology and what we're going to be learning about.
Yes. So first of all, thank you for having me, and thank you for making this happen. This study, I was super excited that we've started it, and I was even more excited when I seen the results. So what Somavedic is doing is, and how it is different from other devices out there, is that it's a combination of frequency therapy technology with various precious stones and minerals, and this combination is what is creating a coherent field around the device. So when our bodies and our cells are in this field, they are not as stressed by the external factors as, for example, as the EMFs that you were just mentioning. So it is not blocking the EMFs. The EMFs are still there, but the cells are not as stressed, basically, when they are in this field.
Right. And the product we're talking about is the Somavedic technology. So tell us a little bit about what went into creating this, and what drove you as a company to create this technology.
Yeah. So, the saying, necessity is the mother of invention. So this was the case with Somavedic. I'm the CEO. But a dear friend of mine is the founder, the inventor of the technology. And years ago, more than 15 years ago, he was quite struggling with his health. And so he found out that some of the root causes of his health problems are EMFs, and he started to study Chinese and Ayurvedic medicine and different healing properties of precious stones and minerals and frequency therapy technology. And eventually, after a lot of studies done, he was able to basically heal himself. Then he was helping family and friends, and everything was working. And eventually he said, why not put all the knowledge and experience into a device that would be possible, thanks to which would be possible to help other people as well. So this was basically back in 2011 when the first Somavedic was born.
Yeah. So here we go. I mean, a lot of people don't understand that they're being affected, right? I mean, they don't even know it. They just think they feel bad or something's going on. So what are the things that might happen to a person when they're being affected by EMF?
Yeah, so as you said, not many people are aware, but there are more than 25,000 peer-reviewed studies showing the adverse effects on not only on our bodies, but on plants, on animals. But one of the most common things that EMF cause are they interfere with our brain waves and sleep patterns. They have effect on fertility, for example. on the speed of cell regeneration. They cause oxidative stress, so-called opening of the VGCCs, voltage gate calcium channels. So in a nutshell, on a high level, the EMFs are they speed up the aging of the cells, which is manifesting like in various ways with different people.
Yeah, so this is incredible technology, because it's taking something that most people believe is not really there. I mean, unfortunately, when I tell people that aren't in this field that they're being affected, they're saying, "Wow, no way the government would let that happen." They're watching out for us. They're the good guys. So what do you have to say about if I was to walk up to you at a trade show booth, because we see you all the time. That's what stimulated this. We saw the device. We've been seeing it for years, and people have been raving about it. So what do you tell somebody that says, this looks like a nice glowing pot?
Yeah, nice glowing lamp. Yes. Yeah. So two things or several things. It's been tested by the time and by the users, because we are on the market since 2011. So, this is very long time, and we have like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds testimonials and reviews, how it really changed people's lives, how they got rid of headaches, migraines, how they sleep better, how they got rid of brain fog, how they are more focused. So this is of course one thing. And then we have, as we started with you, we have various data from different labs showing how it increased HRV. And we get this not only from labs, the HRV data, but we have users sending us screenshots of the Aura app, how the deep sleep improved, how the HRV improved. So we have studies from Germany showing the improved cell regeneration when in an EMF environment, when you enter there a Somavedic or the field of Somavedic, so the speed of the cell regeneration improves. So it is affecting the quantity of sleep. So we have these various data. Then we have lots of, as you mentioned, satisfied customers. And when someone is still hesitant, and I understand that, because not many people, EMFs are invisible, Somavedic, you put it on a table, plug it in, you don't hear any noise, you don't hear any, and you can't feel any smell. So it's hard to, hard to grasp. So that's why we give also 60-day money back guarantee. So everybody can have 2 months to experience it and decide for them, yes, it's worth the money, it's working for me or not. So is the user experience, the data we have, and the 60-day money back guarantee.
Yeah. Well, I can tell everyone I've been using it for, I think, at least 2 or 3 years. I don't know if I bought it before the COVID experiment or after, but we've been using it. And when people come over, they're always asking, "What is that beneath here?" They thought it was something that was melting in the candle wax or something and making the room smell good, but that was something different. And they don't really understand that you need to affect it. So without telling your proprietary secrets of how this whole thing works, but how does it work really? I mean, what do you explain? Is it going out and canceling the waves, or is it creating a field of energy around that room? What's happening?
Yes. So it's, even after 10 years, it's sometimes it's very hard to describe what is actually happening. But what we are trying to do is to amplify the frequencies of properties of various gemstones and minerals, combined with our frequency therapy technology. So what we aim to, I mean, not aim. So what the Somavedic is doing, as I mentioned, is creating this coherent field that is helping the body to start the self-healing processes, because the body is doing the healing, and we are basically creating a more natural environment for the body to live in, because it's very hard on a physical level to measure the field. So we measure the effects of the field, and that's why we are focused on biomarkers. And we know that it's affecting also plants. The plants are growing faster, have bigger leaves. The pets behave differently; they are more calmer. Children behave differently or sleep better. So we can rule out the placebo because they don't know about this. So this is on a high level what the Somavedic is doing, how and what are the insights, what's the combination.
I know that when we got together, we brought in Dr. Sadral, who's, he's a very famous neuroscientist in his own right, but we brought him into BrainTap because he's able to organize studies and get them to completion. And we did a study with you that we put together a sample size of 20 volunteers, and they were not making use of any analgesics or any anti-inflammatories. They weren't using any sleep aids, and they had to at least wash those out. And they had to have good hearing. And what we did was we brought them in. And the nice thing is, we talk about this study, we actually got the experimental neuroscience laboratory at the University of Southern Santa Clarita in Brazil to actually mimic the study. So it wasn't just us here at BrainTap doing the study. We have labs around the world. And this lab, which has been very aggressive in working with BrainTap, they're the same lab that helped us to do we did a study against opioids in BrainTap. So they have a lot of research there, a lot of what we're doing. So the three of us got together and we said, hey, can we evaluate the effects of audio brainwave entrainment, or what we call ABE, and EMF effect mitigation technology? That's what we're calling, because when you're doing a study, you can't say BrainTap and Somavedic. So we came up with some terms that the science community would use, and we figured out, is this good either alone or combined? And we found out that yes, indeed, the technology works all by itself. So if you have it out there, it's not like you need BrainTap, but we're going to tell you how to amplify those results in what's going on. So we were looking at things like, we wanted to evaluate the effects of how this worked on the quality of sleep. We used the Pittsburgh Quality of Sleep Index, which a lot of you researchers out there know what we're talking about there. We're looking at mood through the profile of mood states questionnaire. And we're also looking at depression, anxiety, and stress levels through the DAS, the Depression, Anxiety, Stress Scale, -21. So for those of you knowing it, when we go over these statistics, and I'll ask you a little bit about each one, just so that you can kind of add in what you're seeing out there in the world, because you're seeing, literally thousands of people using the device, so that we can kind of correlate that with what we found in our laboratory experiments. So the intervention was very easy. People asking, well, what did you do? I mean, this works even better if people have it in their home or they have it in their office. I have one in my office, I have one in my home. And so we asked the participants to undergo 2 BrainTap sessions a day, the BrainTap headset that we created in close proximity to the Somavedic, the EMF effects. And then what we did is we studied them for 6 weeks. So it wasn't like we just did a little bit of a study. We want to see over time. 6 weeks is a pretty good standard. So the evaluation took place, and the results, when you read the results, I'm sure you weren't surprised. You probably thought, yeah, this is going to happen with the device. You've seen it before. But tell me a little bit about what your first indications were.
First of all, one of the I would like to mention, the most common feedback that we get, with the Somavedic users is that their sleep improves and their mood improves in terms of they feel more peace or more calm. So these are the 2 most common things. And of course, with the BrainTap, because I have it, and for almost a year, and I love that as well. But I know that's why I bought it, to get to be more focused and everything. So I think you get similar results with that. So I was basically expecting these results in terms of that will affect the sleep and mood. But of course, you never know, because some people might feel it, so some don't. So when I saw the results, I was it was not surprising, but anyway, I was super happy. I was super happy that we were able to find like statistical improvements in stress levels, anxiety, and sleep.
Yeah. So all of these scores, and for those wanting to look more, if you're looking at this podcast on a video, you're seeing the actual screen. If not, go over to our YouTube channel and you'll see the videos, and you can see the actual study that's there. And we'll probably put the results of the study in the notes of this. So if you want to download the research and see it and use it, and of course, if we've stimulated you to do like I did, buy one or two of these devices for your office or your home, then you can use BrainTap as the code on the checkout, and we'll have that down below, and you can actually get a 10% discount, which we appreciate doing that. So let's talk a little bit about the conclusion of the study, because I believe the technology like what you developed is going to be a part of everybody's home eventually, because they're going to realize that we can't count on the governmental agencies that are being bought out by big pharma and other people to keep us safe from these things. They're looking at industry and helping industry make money. And it seems like we're the guinea pigs. 20, 30, 60 years later, they're going to say, wow, I'm sorry, we created this problem within the body. But when we think about the results, the positive effects of these two different sciences working together, when you think about your environment being as healthy as possible for our biological system, we're energy beings, and people that have heard me talk before, we're light beings, we're made of energy. So energy is going to affect us. So when we're getting for those that don't understand EMF, I'm just going to give them a little bit of a background, and then you can maybe add to that with your knowledge. But if you think about it, our body is used to signals from our earth. Like our earth has radiation as well, but the frequencies happen between 0.5 and 100. And these are called earth frequencies, and they're healthy for our body. That's why you're using gyms and things like that to bring this coherence back into our system. Now, for hundreds of thousands of years, they say 200,000 years, these bodies have been on this planet, no problem. But then they start introducing radio signals. And now with 3G, 4G, 5G, wherever they're going to go with this G stuff, what happens is, remember I said from 0.5 to 100, that's, let's say, pulses per second that your body's getting. When you get hit with 5G, that's 50 million pulses per second. Every cell of your body is trying to figure out what that signal means, because our biological system, every cell has something called the cell danger response. And when it gets hit with that 50 million pulses per second, the body's going, hey, wait a minute, I don't know what that is. Is that I'm going to, just like you would freeze up in the fetal position, think of the cells doing the same thing, but it's stuffing out our mitochondria, our energy system of the body. So our body works best in a relaxed state, a flow state. So when you're using Somavedic along with BrainTap, you're opening up the field so that you have this expanded state. Your body is feeling, or getting the signals at least, that this is safe, you're okay. Now, eventually, maybe our bodies will learn how to handle these frequencies, but usually it takes generations. Yeah. It's not like we just hit our bodies with, wasn't long ago, we're getting hit with 10 million pulses per second, now 30, now 50, now where's it going to end? And the problem is that our cells don't know what to do with that information. And there's little chromophores, if you think about it, there are little batteries in every cell of your body that absorb light energy, sound energy, vibrational energy. It actually feeds our body. It gives us energy. And just to put it in perspective, those of you that aren't familiar, when you're if you've ever been to a party, you might not have really wanted to go there, but you went anyway, and then pretty soon they started playing all your songs from your childhood and your teen years, and when you're out running around and your foot starts tapping, you start singing, you start moving. That's because that music is moving your cells. Your cells are absorbing that energy. Well, on a subtle level, that's also happening with the energy in the world around you. You just don't feel it. It's not magnified as much as a big bass speaker or stereo system would do, but it's still having an effect. So when you think about that, Yuri, how would you amplify what I just said? How would you explain it in Somavedic terms?
Yeah, basically, you nail the explanation. I will just add regarding the EMFs and the history and everything. So the EMFs like came with the invention of electricity, and then it like exponentially multiplied with the technology of cell phones. With the first cell phones, and there's a study from 2015, and I forgot the name of the guys that were doing it, but they were measuring the EMF levels in 2015 compared to the levels before the invention of electricity, which is approximately 100 years ago. It's only 100 years ago, and before that we were living without electricity like thousands and thousands of years. So the difference is that in 2015 there were like billion times are the EMFs higher than before the invention of electricity, and of course every year it grows exponentially, and this just happened in 100 years. So our bodies had no chance of adapting into this man-made like EMFs field. So we should definitely do everything, to mitigate, to lower the exposure. And one short add into this, that of course we don't say that if you have a Somavedic, you can be surrounded with Wi-Fi routers and whatever. Of course, we try to explain and educate people that the two most important things that they can do when lowering the EMF exposure, and that goes to everybody, is to increase the distance and lower the exposure. That means when you are on a phone, you can use a loudspeaker, don't use wireless headphones, turn off the Wi-Fi router during the night, etc., etc.
No, that's great advice, because whatever we can do to mitigate those fields, especially the ones we're creating. I mean, it's bad enough the ones that are coming at us. So that's great. Well, one of the things, if you're watching on screen again, we're talking about the DAS, the depression, anxiety, stress scale. And what happened here, I mean, the depression score dropped so much. I mean, if you're looking at the scores, the pre is the white box and the post is the black, and the lower the score, the better. So you can see 2 out of the 3 in 6 weeks lowered, and you can see anxiety lowered, but it wasn't significant. So significant means there can be no chance of error. So when you look at these studies, then we look at the numbers, this is pretty significant. Right now, we're in a mental health crisis, right? I mean, people need to get their brains back. So what are you hearing out there in the field with people using Somavedic about just how they're handling these symptoms and getting their life back?
Yeah, so as I shortly mentioned before, so they, for example, when the people have the Somavedic at home, and some kind of like visitor comes to their home, and they say like, wow, it's interesting that like it's so peaceful or harmonic here, and they can't tell like why is that, or we have some doctors having it in their clinics, and the patients can tell that what changed, like something changed here, like the energy here is different, it's more calm, more relaxing. So but of course we don't know exactly what this is doing. We know that there's a field that the Somavedic creates, and it has this sort of effect that we can see on the data that you just showed, like the depression and stress levels. So that's great.
Yeah. What most people might not know is even the National Institute of Health now says that we have a biofield. So, I mean, when you look at when the government agencies are now acknowledging the energy systems of the body, we're on the right track. So there's things going on here, and this energy field affects not only your physical health, but your mental health. And that's why we took a look at the profile of mood states. When you think about that, the lower on the index, if you're looking at the score, it's significant here. We really had and what we're talking about is, are you more stable? Is something throwing you off? When Mike Tyson says, hey, everybody has a plan till they get hit, are you able to get hit during the day, because that's probably going to happen. Unfortunately, we can't, nobody can take away stress from your life, but what we can do is we can build capacity. And our environment plays a big role because we know that it changes every 40 seconds through something called biophotic exchange, which is the energy field around us is actually adapting our genetics, who we show up as. So if you can create the right field, your body can create the best you, so you can handle those situations and things of that nature. So as we look at this, the sleep index, and I know that most brain tappers out there, you're listening to me and you're using BrainTap to sleep better. So you said in the beginning, I think you said that most people will report back that sleep is one of the first things that improves. And we saw that in the study. It was phenomenal. So besides sleep and mood disorders, do you want to amplify any of that information or tell us a little bit more about how Somavedic can help in those areas?
Sure. So yes, it's sleep, mood, but well, so the sleep and mood has direct and indirect effect on the how you feel during the day, how much energy you have, how productive you are, and even what you are as a person, because you're not grumpy, you're not angry, you are like nicer, kinder to people. So this creates like better like relationships and everything. So these are like, let's say, beneficial side effects from improved sleep and lower stress levels.
Right. So in conclusion, everyone out there in BrainTap Nation, what we showed was that Somavedic EMF is going to help to mitigate those waves, put you in almost like a cocoon, if you will, and help you to work with your environment. There's a lot of things you can do, and this is one of the things we believe is really important. Our science officer went out of his way to put together the program. We got a nationally recognized neuroscience laboratory to come in with us, and they validated our research and said, yes, it's exactly what you're saying. These things are happening. So we're going to encourage you to do some more research. So tell us a little bit about how they can do some more research on the Somavedic.
So majority of the things that I mentioned, if you want to look at the customer experience, you can if you're looking now, at the slide, you can see the green Somavedic there. So that one is called Vedic. So you can check out our webpage, somavedic.com, and look at the product, and below you will find like lots of reviews, what people are experiencing. And in terms of the data, we have on the top menu like science section where you will find, of course, in few days this study and some other studies showing the improvement, the speed of cell regeneration in an EMF environment, improve the HRVs, blood sedimentation, and quality and quantity of sleep. So you will be able, to see all the data there as well.
So there's been some great information, and I'm going to encourage everyone watching this to share this with anyone that lives in a populated area, especially that is subject to Wi-Fi, which is pretty much the whole world. And if people like Elon Musk have their way, it's going to circumvent the whole globe. We're not even going to see the night sky. There's going to be so many satellites in the air. Now's the time to start protecting yourself, to keep your cells in your biological system as healthy as possible. Continue to use your BrainTap. Put this somewhere in your home that you spend most of your time. We put it in the room that we have a little biohacking room at home that also is our fun room, has our pool table, our big TV, and we put it in there because that's where we hang out. And how far does it reach? Like when it's in a room, how far can you expect the field?
Yeah, so one Somavedic is usually enough for the whole apartment or home. The radius of the field is about 100 feet, and it's penetrating the walls and floors. So you can think of it as a Wi-Fi router, but in a good way. So you just place it somewhere in the middle of your apartment, for example, living room or kitchen, because what we didn't mention is that Somavedic is also structuring the water or restructuring, providing better hydration. So So middle of the apartment is enough because usually it will reach your bedroom because like the bedtime is the most precious time when our body sleeps and they try to regenerate. So that's the time that we need to protect most.
If you're wondering what he means by restructuring water, we're 70% or more water. So every cell, if you haven't read the book by Dr. Emoto, The Secret Life of Water, you'll kind of understand, that our body is being affected by these waves. So I want to thank you for putting together the study with Francisco. I know the team here worked really hard. We put together the project. We got it out to Brazil. We formulated it. I think it's something great. I think the world needs to know that these methods in the past used to be considered alternative or some bizarre, they would think that they're coming from left field, but now we're proving with science that there's something to this. And like you said, there's so many peer-reviewed studies already done on the effects of EMF that we need to have more ways to mitigate that stress on the body, because there's many different ways to stress. And so when we think about environmental stress, this is one of the most important, because you might not even know that it's happening. I tell people it's kind of like having an infection in a tooth and it's not really bothering you yet, but you just lose your energy and your vitality. And then as soon as you remove that cavity, then your energy comes back. So what we want to do is we want to remove or take out of your environment those negative fields and put in these healthy fields. So we would love to, once you purchase yours, go onto the site, whatever you do your research, use the term BrainTap so that you get that 10% discount. Let us know how it's working for you. Let us know how you're doing. You do hashtag Somavedic and follow them, figure out what's going on. A lot of the big biohackers are using this. So there must be something to it. Like you said, I use the Aura Ring. We can definitely tell the difference when we're doing that. We can obviously share the difference of what we see on our neurocheck. So before we end this podcast today and this experience about just sharing the evidence about the two technologies working together, is there anything else you want to share with the listeners before we part?
Yeah, basically, I would like to just thank you and your team, like putting together this study, because the results are amazing. I'm super excited about it. I love I love what I do. I love the BrainTap. I love collaborating with companies and like people like you in not only in the biohacking field, like whoever is trying to improve other people's lives. So thank you for that, and I encourage people to try out the BrainTap, to try out Somavedic. We have the 60-day money back guarantee. No, there's no risk involved. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna echo that. I tried it. I found that it worked. We were able to measure the results before we did the studies. That's why we did the study. You always do the pilots to make sure. And so this has been vetted, guys. I think if you don't know why you're not sleeping well and you've tried everything else, this is something to try. If you feel there's just this underlying nagging basically affecting your moods, then this would be something to put in, see what happens. You have 2 months, like you said, 60 days to figure that out. And if you're like me and like my team here, you'll believe in it too, and you'll feel the difference. Because one of the things that we did was we actually took it away for a little bit to see if anybody could feel it. And we have some pretty sensitive people here, and they started to feel the because we're in the middle of town, right, doing our thing. So we're being bombarded all the time. So again, go to Somavedic. Is it somavedic.com? Is that
Somavedic.com? Yes, somavedic.com.
Go there and we'll have the link below. Put in BrainTap, get your 10%. Let's start creating those healthy fields. And like you said, one device can handle an apartment or a home 100 feet. Just think of it like a cocoon of about 100 feet around the device. So put it somewhere in your home where it'll reach that. So I want to thank you for being on the podcast today. It's exciting. I'm going to look forward to seeing you at different shows and where we'll present this information to the world, because our doctors need to know about it. Every clinic needs to have this in their offices, especially when they're dealing with sick people. I mean, you've got people that are compromised, their nervous system is already out of balance. And if you can help get them into balance, it's going to help them heal faster. So again, thank you for being on the call. Thank you for sharing your technology with the world. And thanks for being a part of BrainTap Nation.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Porter, for having me.
Again, you've been listening to the BrainTap Business Journal Podcast. Today, we've been talking about the research between BrainTap and the Somavedic and how it had incredible results. When we talk about significance, that doesn't always happen. Typically, in the drug world, they'll do 3 studies to try to get one to work. We did 1 study and it was significant. So Francisco was just blown away. He's been published over 150 times, and he got it to his buddies that are over in Brazil that have the neuroscience lab. They also confirmed that research and mimicked what we did here in the US. So you've got a proven product that works really well with BrainTap. So I'm going to encourage each of you at BrainTap Nation to at least do your research, figure out if it's something for you, 60-day money-back guarantee. So use the term BrainTap, get your special, and please share and like this podcast. Share it with everyone you know, because this EMF thing is not going away, and we need to get ahead of it before it starts changing. Really, it has the propensity to change even our code, the way our DNA writes itself. So let's stay healthy, let's stay wise, let's get brain fitness going, and let's better a billion brains. And right now, get your brain. And thanks for listening.
Thank you.